Hi friends, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts, and we're going to do a little more slow stitch today. I've been working on these slow stitch pouches, which many of you, if you've watched my channel, have seen how I do these, and I have quite a few videos out on these. You can watch them. Just refer to my channel and you'll find them. Actually, I'm finished with this one, except of course I have to sew it together. So I was going to show you this one. These are made out of a white quilted fabric, and then I fold it over to create a, let's see, a 5 by 8 pouch. When it's folded, it's about 5 by 8, 5 by 7 3/4, 5 by 8, something in that area. And that's the size that I do mine. You can do yours smaller or bigger, however you want to do it. And in my video for these, I show you then how to line them and sew them together so that you can make a little purse or a pouch out of them. They're great to keep your phone in, or to keep inside your purse with your phone in it, or other things in it that you might want to carry with you. So like I said, this one's about finished. I do want to put a button on this one, and I found this button and I just love it. I think I'm going to use it. So what I'll do is I'll center it on here, the place I want it, and then when I lift it up, then I'll put a piece of the sticky back dots. I'll put one on here and one on here and close it up that way. And I show you how to do that in the complete pouch video. Okay, so that's what I did for that. And then I'll show you how this one unfolds. And bear in mind that this doesn't have a lining in it yet, so the lining will cover over the top of this stitching, so you won't see it. Okay, so that's the front part. This one has kind of a theme of Paris. As you can see, you've got the fleur-de-lis, butterflies, roses. Here's some French script on here. We've got some lace, buttons. And the stitches that I used on here were, of course, the regular, just the slow stitch. And then I used some, like a stem stitch here to make the flower stem. And then the little lazy daisies for the leaves. And the French knots for the little flowers. Here's some cross stitch on here. And let's see what else I used on this. Okay, well, let's turn it over and see what we've got on here. Here's the back. It has some more French theme on it. This was actually a piece of fabric that came with the butterfly, and then here's a French, the Eiffel Tower. Used a little ribbon on here, some more cross stitch, like an emblem of a ship. Here's some lace, and here's some more stem stitch with the lazy daisy stitches. Here's a little thing, bonjour. This is something that I printed with a stamp onto muslin, and then I cut them out. I have a whole bunch of different ones available for when I do my cross stitch. Some of you that have ordered the kits will find these in your kits, little stamped bees or butterflies or different words. Okay, so that's that side. The top flap is made, this is made from a embroidered dresser scarf. Just cut up the piece and used it, and which has the advantage of already being embroidered, so you don't really have to do too much. Just do some slow stitching around it. 1889, I believe that's the date for the French Revolution. Which, if any of you've seen the movie Les Miserables, you know that that covers that story. Okay, so that one's ready to be sewn as far as putting a lining in it and finishing it up. And I will have these two in my Etsy shop when I finish them. Here's the second one that I've been working on, and it is not finished yet, but it has, basically I have the design that's on it. I wanted to show you on here, most of these pieces have been tacked down with glue. That's a pin. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to tack this lace down with a little bit of glue. Just hold it there in place until I sew it. This glue will dry clear, so you won't see that purple. And then I'll also put a little bit of glue on here to tack this down so that I can take out this pin. It gives the advantage of being able to sew it down without having all those pins in your way. I will need this pin on this piece of lace since it's kind of dimensional and I don't want it to fall off or anything. Okay, and the rest of these I already have glued down. Here's the back. And you'll notice on the front and on the back, I used a couple of these rectangular house little tiny slow stitch pieces that I did I'd say about a month, 2 months ago, and I'll have the video on that. I'll try to link that video for you, but they're done on little scraps of white quilted cotton. I buy this quilted cotton just by the yard. I get it at Hobby Lobby. So there, this one hasn't been slow stitched yet. This one I did slow stitch, and now I'm going to stitch it onto the back of the pouch. Add some other things here. Still have a pin in here. I'll take that out. The problem with pins on your slow stitch is the thread will continually get caught on there, and sometimes you'll even be sewing and your hand will come off and you'll prick yourself with the pin. So I don't care for that. So that's the reason I use the glue. Okay, and here, just to show you, is another slow stitch piece that I worked on. I don't know if I did this on camera or not, but it's just one of those slow stitch ribbon rolls, and I do have a video on that as well. This is kind of a short one. Usually I make them a little bit longer so that excuse me, so that I can wrap around my handmade spools made out of cardboard, which of course there's a video for that too. And you can wrap them around these to store them until you need them, use them for something. They can be used in their entire length, or they can be cut up and used in journals, or for instance, maybe instead of this piece, I might want to use a piece of this on my pouch, or possibly use this across the front of the pouch. That would be pretty. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you that. This will probably be in my Etsy shop as well, this piece. Okay, so let's do just a little bit of slow stitching. I recently found out, I had seen Rachel on Roxy Creations do some flowers, and she just simply cut out a piece of fabric about that wide, or excuse me, about that round as the size of this button, which you could do. Then I thought, well, I have some silk flowers, which they aren't really silk, they're polyester, made out of polyester fabric, from various silk bunches that I've purchased over the years. Why not try those? So I did. I put them down on here, and I'll show you how to sew some of those on in a minute. But it turns out really pretty. I like that. I like that method. So I'm going to show you. I'm kind of maybe going to develop a video that has various ways to do flowers, both with slow stitches and with using pieces of fabric and then slow stitching them down to another base. So let's work on this a bit. Let's see, I'm going to turn. Turn to the back here. Okay, so this is the back. Show you how to do these little flowers. Thought it would look pretty to have some red ones in here. It's kind of a lot of blue in this pouch so far, so I thought, well, maybe I'll use a little bit more blue, and then I'll use red to go with the blue. I used red thread here, so I can carry this through. I try to. Okay, and if you've watched the pouch videos before, you know that you have to be careful when you do this is the front and this is the back. They're opposite of each other. That's why this looks upside down, but it's not really. When you fold it up, it'll be on the correct side. Okay, let's see. Let's do a little stitching with the white thread, and I have 6 strands here. Now I probably won't actually glue these little flowers down. What I'll do is I'll just do them one by one. I will first of all, I think that I will take my white thread, start up here at the top of this piece of fabric that has these pretty blue flowers on it, and then I'm just going to do a running stitch or a slow stitch down the edge of this, pull it through, and it doesn't matter how you do this. If you do long stitches, short stitches, it just depends on how you like it, and they don't have to be perfectly straight. That's the beauty of slow stitches, is it's very relaxing. You just start it out and you do it, you know. And you can do, I've seen people do a whole piece or slow stitch piece out of just the running stitch. Okay, I think I'll go over a bit. And then I'll come back up. I hope you all are doing well. It's January in Colorado, so it's cold. Although I think this January is colder than last year was. Sometimes we can have like 50s and 60s in January, which is really nice. But it's supposed to get colder today and tomorrow. My friends and I are planning a beach trip, which is kind of nice to plan during this time. You can always like dream of being at the beach. Okay, now if I wanted to, I wouldn't have to stop at the edge of this piece of fabric. I could just, you know, go right on into this lace and continue my stitching. In other words, you don't have to work on just the flap, just the back, or just the front. You can vary it. This piece is coming off. I had it glued down, but it doesn't seem to be staying there because it's a little bit heavy. So I am gonna pin this. Make sure it stays on there. This backing that I'm using on this one, you'll notice, is not the quilted backing. It is a piece of upholstery fabric, and it's a little bit harder to sew through. So if you're a beginner, I would not suggest using something like this. I would use something that's a little bit easier to sew through, as is the white quilted, or in this case, a piece of muslin. This was just a piece of muslin, because it does get kind of thick as you put things on it to sew through it. My kits will usually come with a piece of muslin because that's the easiest to sew through, since it's all cotton. Okay, now just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go down and show you how to do those flowers. And I had wanted to do the flowers in white. So I'm going to go to the back and just, instead of stranding this, I'm going to come down underneath a few stitches. And then I'll come up right in the center where I want that flower to be. You'll notice on these flowers, they're bigger, and so I did the French knot in the middle. I'll bring that up a little bit so you can see it better. I did the French knot in the middle, and then on the side petals I did a little stitch, just a little tiny stitch to hold each petal down. I don't know if I'll need to do that on the red ones. Let me see. I'll check and see how that goes. These are a little three-dimensional. What you can do is you can take a warm iron, not a hot iron, because you don't want to melt these. They are polyester, these little tiny flowers. You can press them down with your fingers to see how they stay down. Or, like I said, you can take an iron that's not hot at all, just warm, and iron them. You can also use bigger flowers too. You just don't have to use those little ones. And I'll go around, let's say 4 times. Then I'll go back down. Just making a French knot. I'm going to hold it with my thumbnail, I should say. Okay, and sometimes it takes a little bit to pull it through. And this one's a little difficult because, like I said, it is that... Oh, I don't even know if that's going to go through. It's kind of a, there we go. And then I'm going to hold that with my thumb. Then I come down and then pull that. There we go. I think I will just, go a little ways more and make another, come up at another spot. Kind of press that down with my fingernails. I'm going to come up in the middle of this red flower, and I'm going to make another French knot. I'll show you one more of these for the sake of the video. I will be continuing to work on this after go around 4 times after this video is over, and then I'll finish these up, these pouches. Like I said, there are instructions online on my YouTube channel, which you're watching now. Okay, and then come up on this next one. I'm going to go ahead and put this flower on there so I don't forget it, nor don't lose it. Kind of press it down with my fingers. And come up in the middle. These usually have a hole in them because that's where it was on the plastic stem. Let me get... This is what the whole stem looks like when you buy it at the hobby store. Really wasn't too bad. It's $4.99 for this all these flowers, and Hobby Lobby often has their things half off, which I bought this at half off, so it was $2.50 for all the flowers, which is a pretty good. And you may already have some flowers left over from other crafts, which is what I used the blue, where I found the blue ones. Okay, so it almost looks like these red flowers are the same as the blue that are in the fabric. And on this blue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and do French knots in the middle of these what, 4 or 5 flowers there to match, and I might do them in that same green color or similar green color. Okay, so then I have another piece threaded. I was going to try to show you how I'm going to sew these down. This one already has the blanket stitch around it, but with this one I'm just going to sew it around the edges with like what I call an applique stitch. So then I come up on one side and go down on the other side and then come up on this side again. And that's how I'm going to tack it down all the way around. Okay, I'm going to turn this just to check and see that I have this on there straight, which I do. I love this little cat. Okay, so let me turn it again. I'm just going to go all the way around using this stitch, which I call the applique stitch because it's what you use to applique one piece down to the other. And don't worry about the raw edges showing. That's the beauty of this slow stitch method, is that the raw edges show, threads show. In other words, it doesn't have to be perfect, which is kind of my motto in art and crafts. And it kind of makes it look more like folk art that way, when it isn't perfect. I mean, if you're going to do it perfect, you might as well buy it already made, you know, because that's the way it, and even that doesn't turn out perfect. Okay, so let's put this back together the way it would be. Now what I usually do while I'm making this is I put a little pencil mark right here to tell where it folds over, so that I can go back and I can know when it folds over. Now these pieces of lace here I will tack down. Okay, so we had some fun today showing you a little bit of slow stitching. And I appreciate you joining me. I hope that you'll come back again and watch some more of my videos. I wish you all peace of mind. Thank you.